वेलकम फ्रेंड टू आवर प्रोग्राम सेलिब्रेशन ऑफ सक्सेस, जहां पर हम सफल और सक्सेसफुल लोगों से बात करते हैं, जिसने काफी काम किया है, जो सब्जेक्ट डोमेन एक्सपर्ट है, उनसे बात करते हैं। आज हमारे साथ मैडम है जो सीएसआर में काफी काम करती है और आज भी काफी कंसल्टिंग और ट्रेनिंग के काम करती है। तो रुकैया जी, आपका हमारे प्रोग्राम में बहुत बहुत स्वागत है। थैंक यू सो मच।
थैंक यू अजय जी, थैंक यू फॉर इनवाइटिंग, और इट हैज बीन माय प्लेजर एंड प्रिविलेज टू टॉक टू यू एंड टॉक टू द ऑडियंस। थैंक यू सो मच।
मैडम, हम आपसे आपके लाइफ जर्नी के बारे में और आप आज क्या कर रहे हैं इसके बारे में बताइए।
जरूर बताऊंगी। तो मेरी जीवन की शुरुआत एक मॉडेस्ट फैमिली से हुई। मैंने मेरे माँ बाप से बहुत कुछ सीखा। निर्भयता का एक जो गुण होता है, जो एक सफल होने के लिए एक जरूरी होता है, वो मैंने अपने माँ बाप से सीखा। हार्ड वर्क और दूसरों की सेवा बचपन से मेरे जीवन में उनको देखकर आई कि how do you go around and help others, and how do you get satisfied with that, and continue to believe what you believe. If you believe what you think and say is right, then you should not be afraid of anybody, and then you should live life like that. That was a beginning. And then I went to college. I was privileged to start my teaching career at a very early age. I was not even a graduate when I was a professor at Lala Lajpat Rai College. That gave me a lot of confidence and understanding. And then I continued to be in teaching profession. I was head of the Department of Commerce of BG Ruparal College for 26 years. That gave me a lot of opportunity to connect with Bombay University. I was member board of studies and examination head, and so many, even the restructuring of courses from first year to MPhil level. I chaired that particular work. And I was also privileged to be invited by SP Jain to be a professor. So I moved from Ruparal College to SP Jain Institute of Management and Research, Bharati Vidya Bhavan, Andheri, in 2006. And since then, my journey took absolutely different turn, Ajay. Bharati Vidya Bhavan, under the leadership of Dr. M.L. Shrikant, gave me a lot of freedom and support. It allowed me to do what we could do. So I started teaching finance. Then I was heading the postgraduate program in management, PGPM. I was a co-chair at that. But I was basically associated with all which Bharati Vidya Bhavan's SPJMR firmly believed on teaching by doing, not only in classroom, learning by doing. And that was experiential learning. So I was very much involved in all the four pillars of learning by doing programs at SPJMR, namely DOCC, ADMAP, and Gita Shibir, where we learn from Bhagavad Gita. But with me, we started one program. Dr. M. Shrikant wanted students to learn by going to the slums and learn. Urban slum, rural slum, they learn by going to NGOs. So we started a program called Abhyuday, where our MBA students would go and mentor the underprivileged children. Likewise, it went on, and later I wanted to, I have worked with Baba Amte in 1980s. And that's my very, very formative period, yes. When Baba Amte started Bharat Jodo Abhiyan, and where we, some youth from Mumbai left everything from BJTI and they joined Baba Amte. And then that's where I got the opportunity to be part of that particular team. And that had a deep influence on me. And then when I came to SPJMR, I said, why can't we take the management, all the systems, processes, new models, everything to development sector? And why can't we run the NGOs in a business-like way, in a more professional way, more systematic way? Doing it with passion and heart is good, but can we do it in a more systematic? Because times are changing. We saw from 2008, money stopped coming to development sector after the world, economic meltdown. Money stopped coming. So how do we go around? How do we try and reduce the expenditure? How do we go out and do what we do in a better manner? And then I thought of starting an executive MBA program for those who work for CSR and NGOs. They continue to work in CSR and NGOs, and they come to learn management. And I must tell you that today my life is nothing but gratitude, where all the faculty members came together of different subjects, and they converted the business management MBA knowledge into development sector. A lot of things would work. So many things would require to be changed. For every subject, every professor made this particular kind of a change. And we came up with a curriculum which is for those who work for CSR and all that. Today, I'm very happy to tell you that more than 400 students of mine in length and breadth of the country, some of them are outside the country also, who are doing some very good work. They become senior executives, from middle level to higher level. And one of the things which we wanted is that how do you institutionalize the whole working, and long-term kind of a thing. It's like today morning, one trust where I am a trustee was talking about how do we look long-term, next 30 years, next 50 years, how will we run this particular institutions, So how do you do the, change management, and how do you go out and create new leaders who continue to do? So our students learn from Amul's example. How Varghese Kurian created that legacy, that today also when you go to Amul's factory, you would feel that Varghese Kurian is still alive. So how do you carry on with the value system? How do you instill in the next generation that the same thing continues? So this is what we have done, the same. And I've been privileged to be instrumental in getting 5-6 national and international awards to the Institute. And today, Ajay, when I look at my life, having retired, I would feel it is full of gratitude. I feel fully, I've got very, very loving family and colleagues, and everybody came together to help things happen. That's where I am today.
Thank you so much for a very inspiring journey, and especially the last work which you are doing, CSR, where I met you also 2-3 times.
Yes.
And it's a wonderful program, and I think for development work, it will create milestones. Now, today, madam, what you are doing?
So today, I continue to be associated because my life is all about development. So I'm very passionately working towards sustainable development goals, so associated with various institutions. I'm on a committee of United Nations Global Compact Network India, where the Sustainable Development Goal number 3, which is on health, there is a national committee which is there. I'm part of that. I continue to be associated doing various assignments with various colleges. For example, BITS Pilani School of Management, which is the new college, where this is the founding batch of 140 students, helping them do the experiential learning of working with the NGOs and CSR. I'm also doing a CSR course with Somaya College. I'm on board of studies of a couple of colleges on management of a college. And also I'm on board of many NGOs. And also I mentor a number of NGOs in length and breadth of the country. And that's where I spend most of my time. And even engineering students, I'm guiding 2 engineering students to be socially sensitive. Even if they are just getting into the work life, how can they be a more socially sensitive human beings? How can they be humane, and how can they be better managers and better technocrats? So that's how.
Wonderful.
Really
So I see a lot of NGO who are doing good work. and excellent passion and everything, but they lack resources.
Yeah.
Whether at the same time CSR companies have a lot of funds.
Hmm.
So how can they collaborate, and what you are doing can do in this?
Yes. So Ajay, basically for any development work, government is the major resource person. So a lot of funds which go for the welfare activities of the poor becomes the source that. But at certain point of time, like how sometimes it is said that it is not government's job to go out and run business. It's not government's job to go out and do even the social work. So that change has come, that these are all very specialized things, and there should be people who can be strengthened. Their processes can be strengthened. So government in 2013 came up with the CSR Act, and there are a list of items which can be done. 2021, April 21, many changes have happened. And it is a very beautiful thing that has happened. A lot of gaps. So one saw from 2014 to 20, one saw a lot of, how it went, what CSR companies did, what kind of projects were there. There were guidelines which were very well founded earlier, but then one went out to review after some time. And a lot of correction has come. One of the things that is there is now it is required from 1st April 21, it is required that any NGO wanting to access the CSR funds will have to register. And the registration is very simple. And that there is no problem. There is no kind of problems created like that. Anybody, and the requirement is that there should be at least 3 years they should have run, just to get to feel that you have understood the development sector, and then you can do, and they can access. Most of the times, the CSR companies which are supposed to be spending this money, they decide their CSR strategies, where they want to give for health or they want to give for education. And you would know that last 2 years during COVID, most of the money went for COVID, because a lot of other projects could not be handled because of the lockdown. And therefore, the money had to be channelized, and there was a need for money to be channelized, whether it was for vaccination or for any other kind of a COVID-related, even giving oxygen cylinders or all kinds of things. There was a need to provide that particular immediate help. And a lot of CSR money went for that. In that, again, the public sector is a major player. Some of the oil companies are spending good amount of money, and I'm associated with some of them, and they go out and pick up. So companies pick up their strategy. They're supposed to be now putting it up on their website, the 21 amendments. Board is now responsible, and the finance department of the organization is also responsible. So now it has become much more organized. List has increased, and NGOs can come. So companies do due diligence. Many other organizations are doing due diligence. And now there is a good kind of a commonality over so many years between the CSR and NGOs. So it is working, and I think it is working well.
Thank you so much. Yeah. So one more thing, you have CSR. Now there is also a new word called ISR, individual social responsibility. So what can be done, because people are still yet to be sensitized about that. So you have done a wonderful work of sensitizing Management Institute students. But there is a large audience which is not aware about this. So what can be done in this?
Absolutely. Absolutely. You rightly said, because Gandhiji, we just celebrated the death anniversary of Gandhi a few days ago. Gandhiji also said that the change in society comes about with the changes in man. So unless that individual changes, the society cannot change. So when we talk about the corporate social responsibility, you're talking about individual responsibility towards the society. And it cannot be that a corporate does it just for tick box. just for doing it for the sake of it. So therefore, how do we go out and do it? My personal belief is that we should start at a very early age. We cannot say that we will tell the people when they are 25, 30, 40, 50. At that time, we will say what is their responsibility. It should start at early age. So as I told you, that Sustainable Development Goal is all about bringing the whole world on a common platform. And if India completes its targets, 50% of the global targets would be attended. So therefore, half of the burden of Sustainable Development Goal is still in India. We need to do so much for the poor because of the large size of our country in terms of number of people. And there we are starting at school. We are starting at school. So these Sustainable Development Goals, and what can I do? How do I switch off the light? How do I, when I'm doing washing my hands, how do I not let the water run? What do I do for picking up? So a lot of examples are there in length and breadth of the country, whether it is picking up the plastic or cleaning the schools. In Japan, you would have this training coming to very young, 4, 5, 6 years old toddlers. I'm using the word because they're very young people. Right from there is that responsibility. Now, one of the Sustainable Development Goal is conscious consumption. How we go out, that's where you go to the mall and not use plastic bags or use cloth bags. Or there can be so many things that we try and reuse, recycle. So there are 9 C's of this thing that we are talking about, and ours we are putting as to how do we go about. And there's so much that each person can do, whether it is individual in the house, whether family, in the society, in the community in which you say the housing society, then you're talking about the entire community, that is the that you live in, and then you go around and say how the nation does it. So local governments, individuals, and all can come together. So today, the students from Walchand College are going around and taking up medical waste, and seeing that how medical waste can be properly disposed of so that there is no health hazard that happens because of that. I can tell you there is absolutely no end of it, Ajay. There's so much to do at an individual level. It is not that koi aake karega. We cannot just say कि government का काम है, government करेगी. Government के करेगी, NGO करेंगे. We cannot do that. We have, particularly pandemic, I want to bring this thing, has brought to us that we are all very, very interconnected. कहीं दुनिया में कहीं कुछ होता है, the whole world is affected, and therefore we need to be individually responsible. And therefore, my responsibility starts with looking after me and my surrounding, my family and my immediate neighborhood. हर कोई अगर उतना ही शुरुआत कर ले, तो I think there'll be a lot more can be done about it. Yeah.
Very nicely put. Yeah. So there are many NGO which I am also aware, and some of them have resources, some of them have volunteers, but they lack a lot of things. So how can, what is the advice you give to NGO to do the work and which can sustain for longer time?
Yes. So I want to tell you that change has started happening from 2000 onwards. In 2008-10, I went out to study some of the NGOs, cooperative works, and so many of them to see that who were doing well in 90s, how are they doing, whether they continue to do well or what. One point which I understood and out of the entire research work was that those NGOs, for those NGOs listening to this program, those which have changed when the external environment has changed, those who have learned from the corporate sector, those who have learned from how the society is changing, those who have learned maybe from administration of the government, have benefited and have been sustained for a very long time. Not only it's sustained, but they have grown exponentially. And that is possible if you change. For example, at one particular time, instead of having a very vertical structure, the structures of the business organization started becoming flat. At that time, those decided that now we will change our way of working and we will not continue to be traditionally working. Those organizations which went out to diffuse and delegate and create small groups which will work, they found that there was tremendously different energy that they created. Today we are talking about empowerment of employees, and giving them such job satisfaction with the new big generation. They want purpose. So if you are able to give them the meaning of what they do, then they will do the work which you can't even think of doing it. And my one point to the NGOs is that in fact, I would want to say two things. First is to turn the mirror inwards and try and see how we do what we do better in terms of systems, processes, rather than leaving for every individual to do the work. I saw some of the NGOs which were working extremely well did just close down because the founder left the body and there was nobody else prepared to take up. So if you leave it for systems and processes to take care, then those will be sustained organization. And as I mentioned earlier, and I repeat, you prepare your second line of leadership. Money comes. Today morning, people said money is not an issue. If you are a good NGO, people see that you are committed, you are working well. It is not, overall, the money may not be so much or plenty, but for good NGOs, there is always money that is available. And therefore, you have to create your credibility. You have to give that kind of confidence to the donor that you mean a business and you are going to go out and reporting properly. Of course, social media and all that is also there now. So there is a good future. And I think we need to strengthen the development sector in that sense.
Very good. Very well said. And I'm happy that you are supporting this NGO to become professional and system-oriented. And we have a good feeling about your work and let you continue to the good work. And आप आए और आपने यहाँ इतनी अच्छी तरह से बात की, उसके लिए आपका बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद. Thank you so much, madam.
मुझे बुलाने के लिए और मेरी बातें सुनने के लिए आप सबका, ऑडियंस का, आपका सबका बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद. Thank you so much. And we stay